Alright, it looks like winter is not over yet for the Northeast, as Winter Storm Quincy could be bringing 1.5 feet of snow to select locations. There's actually another system that's going to be filling in behind Quincy too, so let's take a look at that as well. First thing let's do, what's Quincy doing in the Northeast right now? As you can see, it's already starting to bring some snow to central and northern Pennsylvania as well as western New York. By 7 a.m. on Monday, that's really when I'm filming this video right now, you can see that snow has started to fill into southern New York as well as western parts of Connecticut. And then this is when the bulk of the storm starts to hit. This is when the low starts to move off the coast a little bit, so then it really starts bringing in that moisture and pulling down that cold air. You can see at this point, this is showing 1 p.m. on Monday, and northern parts of Pennsylvania and really central New York picking up some heavy snowfall rates. This is again 1 p.m. on Monday, and this is when the storm is really starting to intensify. When we move to 7 p.m. Monday, that's when this low is officially off the coast, and that's going to be doing two things. It's going to be pushing in moisture and pulling down cold air. Those two things are going to combine to create these awesome snowfall rates that you see for Vermont, New Hampshire, and northern Massachusetts by about 7 p.m. tonight. This is also where you're going to see the highest accumulations of snow, where in that first screen you saw maybe 1.5 feet possible. And again, it's because this low has moved off the coast, and right here, right in northern Massachusetts, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, that's the bullseye of where the moisture and the cold air are just combining. And you can really see that on this map. So this is showing around right now. It's Monday morning, and you can see basically the entire Northeast is just a little bit too warm to be picking up any snow, and this low is just a little bit too far south. Well, it's going to start to move up the New Jersey coast throughout the day today. By about 1 p.m. today, this low has moved up the coast, and you can see it's already starting to pull down some of that cold air into eastern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, northern Massachusetts. And again, that's exactly where we're going to see the highest snow accumulations. So as this low moves up, here's really the key screen where we're going to be getting the majority of our snowfall. It's between this afternoon and tonight on Monday. And this low, look at the path it takes. You really want to see a low move right up the coast if you want to get a bunch of snowfall in the Northeast. That's exactly what this low does. It's really it hugged the New Jersey coast. Now it's right off of kind of Massachusetts. And you can see that cold air has really been pulled down by these northerly winds on the left side of the low. And then you could really start to see, I'll move it over so you can see it better, that air, those strong winds pushing the moisture in. Now remember where that bullseye was, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, northern Massachusetts. That's right where we're seeing these winds push in the moisture, and then these winds, not as strong, but they're pulling down that cold air. That's why we're getting the huge snow accumulations right here. And then you can see this low just kind of moves off. This is by really Tuesday morning. It would have been nice if this low could have just hung out for a while and continued to bring snow to the Northeast, but it really just kind of moves off. It's a quick hitter. It moves in really right now, this morning on Monday at 7 a.m., and then by Tuesday at 7 a.m., it's already gone. So let's take a look at some of the accumulated snowfall associated with Winter Storm Quincy. By really tonight, the accumulations aren't really there yet. Tonight is when the bulk of the storm is hitting. So by about 12 o'clock tonight, majority of the Northeast just has maybe 2 to 4 inches, one little bullseye of maybe 5 inches in New York. But as you can see, it's not those heavy accumulations that we're going to be seeing later with the storm. It really starts to fill in late tonight. So by about 7 p.m. to 12 a.m., I guess, we are going to be seeing the bulk of Winter Storm Quincy hitting the Northeast. And right where you saw that combination of the moisture and the cold air, that's where we're getting the majority of the snowfall. Northern Massachusetts and really actually all of New Hampshire could be getting 5 to 8 inches with that bullseye right on the New Hampshire-Massachusetts border. That's about 1.5 feet of snow. And then you see that builds into southern Maine throughout Tuesday morning. This is showing by 7 a.m. on Tuesday, how much snow will you have on the ground? And you can see most of New Hampshire, 5 to 8 inches, southern parts of Maine, really into the 7-inch to a foot range. And it's interesting to see that you get those heavy accumulations along the coast, because that's the exact, it's weird because usually you don't get heavy accumulations on the coast because it's moderated by the warmer Gulf Stream that moves up the coast right here. That's why really you see right here, didn't pick up any snow with this one, and it's because the warm Gulf Stream was moderating their temperatures just a little bit too much. But then Quincy moves off, and overall I'd say it's a pretty good storm for you guys. You're getting 1.5 feet of snow, and really snow for everybody. It's this storm really spread the wealth. Pretty much everybody got about 2 to 4 inches, with select locations getting over 1.5 feet. The other story we're talking about is the system that's going to be moving in behind Quincy. And as it turns out, it's in Southern California right now. I don't know why I couldn't just say that. We got some rain in Northern California yesterday, and that low you see right here, there's this little trough and this low pressure system that is right over Southern California right now. And then this, keep your eye on this little tiny trough as it moves across the country. Right here, it's kind of above Kentucky. It's going to actually be bringing some severe thunderstorms to the mid-Atlantic. And then you see it starts to deepen on Wednesday at about 1 p.m. The Northeast is in the sweet spot for this trough, really on the right side of a trough. That's when you get severe thunderstorms or heavy snow accumulations, depending on the temperatures. As you can see, looks pretty warm in the Northeast, so it's going to be interesting to see how the precip falls. This is another great way to visualize this storm as it moves across the country. Right there, Southern California getting some rain right now. That's good because literally all of February we got no rain whatsoever. So it's nice to see in a drought and water standpoint that California is actually getting some rain now. So watch this little batch of precipitation as it moves into Utah, Colorado, and then right here it actually starts to pull in some of that Gulf of Mexico moisture. So really right here, it's still able to pull in some Pacific moisture. It's pulling in some Gulf of Mexico moisture, and that's why the storm's really going to start to intensify. And you see, it's going to bring some severe thunderstorms, heavy rain, possibly some flooding to Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, before moving off the coast. And it's going to be interesting to see the path this low takes. We'll be able to see it better on this map, where we'll start to see the moisture and precipitation move into the Northeast. There's that low as it starts to move off the coast. Now this is really the key map and the key indicator of what this storm is going to do. You can see at this point, it's mostly rain for everybody. Maybe a couple select locations in New York and Vermont that could be picking up just a dusting of snow at this point. But really, everyone's just getting rain at this point. And then the low just moves straight east. Right here, with Quincy, we saw it move right up the New Jersey coast and then all the way hugging the coastline until it hit Maine. And that's why we were able to pick up 1.5 feet of snow in places like New Hampshire and Massachusetts. This one moves straight east. And that is not what you want to see if you're a snow lover in the Northeast. You can see it a lot better on this map. So as it moves in, you can see everywhere in the Northeast is above freezing, pretty much. You got 40 degrees in New York, 37 in Vermont, 38 in New Hampshire. Little too warm to be getting any snow with this one. And then at the key point where you want it to start hugging the coast so it can bring in the moisture, bring down the cold air, combine to make that bullseye we saw with Quincy, it moves off the coast. And by the time the freezing temperatures get pulled down, the low is just too far away to be really bringing any snow. It is going to bring a little bit of snow. Maybe 2 to 4 inches to Pennsylvania, one select location in southern New York that could be getting maybe 1 to 2 inches. But again, this storm is a little bit farther off in the forecast, so I can guarantee the forecast models will change with this one. If, for example, that low instead hugs the coast instead of moving off, we could have another storm like Quincy where we pick up 1.5 feet. I'm going to be doing forecast videos every single day, keeping you guys updated on both Quincy and this storm as it develops. So if you want to stay updated, you could subscribe to my channel. You could also check out my forecast playlist where I actually just filmed another video really diving into this second system as it moves across the country. So if you want to see either of those, you can subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.